Are you thinking about going into livestock farming? Then I think the first thing you're thinking about is land. What size of land do I need? What type of land do I need? And then once you have your land, you can now think of, how to build your structures, plan your feed, prepare your management structure, your health, everything. Recently, there is something that we've been taking for granted, and that is the type of land that is required or needed or suitable for livestock farming. I think with crops, it's well understood that you need, your loamy soil, you need your water, you need a very fertile soil in order to cultivate. But in livestock, what do you need? And the fact that livestock hasn't even been so commercialized that people have done enough research to determine what is needed. This has caused a lot of mistake and high value of money for some of the things that we've done wrongly. And that's why in this video, I want to share with you guys, those that are already in farming, those that are in farming but want to buy a bigger land to scale, or those of you that just want to go into livestock farming. Is any land out there suitable for livestock farming? And if this is something you're wondering about, or you have been caught up in the word of like buying a land that's not suitable, then stay tuned. Because in this video, I'm going to share my experience with you guys so that you do not repeat the mistake that I and so many other people have done. Welcome back, guys, and I'm glad you sticked around because today I'm going to talk about something that we do take for granted as livestock farmers. Because normally when we want to go into livestock farming, we think about any land that we have and we start putting our infrastructure on and we bring our animals and we start rolling. But meanwhile, that's not the same thing for crops. When we want to go into crop farming, we look at the fertility of the soil, we look at how loose the soil is, how tight it is, how eroded it is, and all that. And based on that, we make decisions on which land will be suitable for us. But in livestock, it's not the same. And that is why I want to share some experience with you guys. Because recently, as you guys know, we have started offering consultation services, but in person, to actually do farm setup, farm construction, and so on for other farmers. And therefore, recently I've been visiting a lot of farms, trying to help people out build their farm and also give them guidelines and training. And for the past, I think 1 week, I've visited 2 farms that I have been very saddened by it. Number one, the gentleman is in UK and has given his family money to buy land for him. His intention is to do cattle farming and also to do goat farming. I visited the land and sadly, I have to wear Wellington boots. And that Wellington boot was almost like covered with water and mud. So the land that was purchased at a place where they've went sand, but they just did it recently, so it had rain and the whole land is waterlogged. Like you have water of about 4 feet at the surface of the land. And I got there and I was like, where is the land? And he says, this is it. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, how is a goat gonna live here? How are you going to plant your pasture? Do you see any grass here? Because it's so waterlogged that grass cannot even grow in there. So what is the vision? How, even if this is the rainy season and in the dry season it dries off, the moment you construct your pen and you have your livestock, what are you going to do in the rainy season? Right? So I think the number one thing I want to talk to you guys about is please do not buy a waterlogged or a swampy place for your livestock. You might be asking, Fred, why? Maybe I'll build my pen up, but are your animals going to come down and eat? If they are, then when you are in a waterlogged or swampy places, you are very prone to foot rots and mouth sore. You're going to have them maybe 3-4 times a year. right? And goats, if you're even doing goats, they do not like water, they do not like wet places. You want to keep their places as dry as you can see here, right? So please, waterlogged place is not going to be the right place for you. So please make sure that your land is not a waterlogged or swampy land, but it's a dry land. Obviously, in the rainy season, we all know that, you know, it can get muddy. But the great thing that I find myself in Suhum here is that when I came here in the dry season, I saw how fertile the soil was. So I was like, wow, I'm going to have issues here, because with this sort of cool, soft, loose soil and fertile soil, that means that there is a lot of worms in this soil. But one thing that I also realized during this rainy season is that it's not muddy because it's sandy soil. Anytime it rains, because of the looseness of the soil, it sinks to the bottom and my surface is dry in less than 24 hours. So it can rain very heavily here in Suhum on this land, and you see that in a few hours, the land is dry and you can walk on it, you can step on it, and you don't have mud. That's the kind of soil I will recommend to you if you're a livestock farmer, right? The next thing for you to consider is the plantation of the soil once you visit, right? I said this week I also visited a farm where, you know, we were doing a farm setup for the gentleman, but we got to the land and there were grasses, there were some few trees. Obviously, it's not a virgin land, so it's been used. But you look at the plantation and you can look at the leaves on the land, and you can see that the leaves are all basically red. They are not healthy. Those that are not red are yellowish. You can see that the grass plant is not healthy enough. If I come here and look at the cementia grass that I have here, it's amazing. It's dark green. Right, this shows that the soil here is very fertile, and by so doing, I'm able to choose the kind of soil or part of the land that I'm buying to be able to use for my pasture. Right, so again, livestock farmers also need fertile land, because we're going to plant and grow our feed. Even if not the cementia grass, you're probably going to grow, you know, maize or something for your livestock. You want to make sure that you have a portion of the land that is a bit fertile, right? So you look at how these grasses are looking, that tells me, right? And the reason why I actually chose this place is because my land slopes. So in my head, you know, this is not a book knowledge, but just as we would call it, like house wisdom. In my head, once it rains, all the topsoil, you know, is swept all the way down to this side. And therefore, I know that this place is much richer in minerals than the top there. So I decided to rather plant my grass here, where I know that the water has driven a lot of nutrients basically to this side, right? So I think those are some of the things that you can look for. So if you go to a land and you see that your plants are looking yellowish and reddish like this, then it should tell you the kind of soil that you're working on, right? If you have some, you know, rocky areas, as far as you can put a pen, you have space, a bit of soil to put your pen. I think I would not advise you against rocky areas, mountainous areas, because that's very good. Those places, you rather want to use it for exercising yard, playing grounds, because you don't have a lot of parasites there, right? And you know, goats and livestock, they like to jump on those hills, they like to scratch their body, so that will be good. I think the most thing I'll tell you to stay away from is waterlogged, swampy areas and places that the vegetation is not good. It can tell you by itself. You go there in the rainy season, whatever they've done on the land, whether its acidity level is too high, or whether they have wind their topsoil, or whether they've used it for whatever reason, and therefore nothing grows on that land. You don't want to buy that land or use it for livestock, because you can't grow your pasture, right? You want a loose, sunny soil that will help you manage your bacteria and not create muddy areas. And then you also want to have a piece that you'll be able to plant your feed, just like we have done here as well. So tomorrow, if you're thinking about buying a farmland for livestock, these are a few things that you can look out for. We've done it, we've bought several lands and made several mistakes, but now at least we know better and we can help you guys as well. If you're thinking about it and you're not sure, contact us. Let my team come and help survey your land. Let's map your land for you and make sure that you're making the right decision. Because If you think you're going to save some small money and go make the mistakes, you pay the price later, guys. I have paid majority of those prices. I've seen new farmers who are still paying the prices because they didn't make the right decision. Don't forget to reach out to us in case you need help about surveying your land, planning your land, testing your land, whatever you need to make sure that you succeed. We are here for you. So contact us and let's come and help you out. Thank you for watching me today, and I will see you in the next video.